All right, let's talk about one of the biggest, most frustrating challenges for any creator out there. How do you take a piece of content that feels totally invisible and turn it into something people just cannot scroll past? You know the feeling, you pour your heart and soul into a video and it gets, like, 10 views. If that's you, you're in the right place.
Does this sound a little too familiar? I mean, it's a feeling so many of us have. You know you've got good stuff to share, but for whatever reason, it's just not hitting. It honestly feels like you're just shouting into the void.
Let's just be real about it. You're doing the work, right? You're filming, you're editing, you're trying to write clever captions, but that follower count is just stuck. The effort you're putting in just doesn't match the results, and man, that is so demotivating.
And here's the question that stings even more. It's not just about getting new people to notice you, it's about the followers you already have. Why are they just swiping right past your content without even a pause? That's the real problem we've got to solve.
You know, there's actually a name for this whole frustrating cycle. It's called the engagement trap. But here's the good news, and there is good news. There is a key to get out. It's a simple, learnable skill that can completely change the game for you.
Okay, so let's dive right into this solution. It really all comes down to one thing: mastering the hook. This is your secret weapon. It is the single most important part of your content when it comes to stopping that infinite scroll.
So what even is a hook? Well, it's way more than just a catchy first sentence. Think of it as a carefully crafted, powerful statement that's engineered to grab attention and create this undeniable urge, this need in your viewer to see what happens next.
And how long do you have to make that happen? 3 seconds. That is your entire window. In less time than it takes to blink, someone has already decided if they're going to stay or if they're going to go. That's why your hook is, literally, everything. So how do we actually build a killer hook? We're going to break it down into a super simple 3-part framework. First up, let's talk about hooks that are all about sparking curiosity.
The psychology here is just so cool. What you're trying to do is create something called an information gap. It's like you're showing someone a little piece of a puzzle, and their brain just instinctively goes, wait, I need to see the rest. That little bit of mental tension is what keeps them glued to the screen.
And here's what that looks like in the wild. A hook like how I hit 1M views without posting daily, well, that immediately goes against what everyone thinks they have to do, or what nobody talks about. That promises you some kind of insider secret. See how each one opens up a little loop in your brain that you just have to close?
Okay, the next piece of our framework moves away from secrets and gets a little more personal. This is all about building an immediate human connection.
The whole strategy here is different. Instead of creating a gap in information, you're closing an emotional one. You do this by being vulnerable, by being relatable, by showing people you understand their struggles. This is how you make someone feel seen. And that's how you build a real community, not just a list of followers. These examples are just so effective because they feel so real. I almost quit. That's so vulnerable and relatable. Have you been stuck under 1K for months? That speaks directly to a viewer's pain point. And my favorite, my first reel got 23 views. That immediately builds trust because it shows you started exactly where they are right now.
And that brings us to the final category in our framework. This is where we get a bit more assertive. These are the hooks designed to drive action and command attention.
The key idea here is all about authority. You're not just relating to them anymore, you're leading them. This is about grabbing attention by being bold, by showing undeniable proof, or by tapping into that super powerful fear of missing out, FOMO. You're basically signaling that your content isn't just nice to have, it's essential.
You can see 2 different flavors of this right here. On the left, you've got the contrarian approach. Stop chasing viral, chase conversions instead. Whoa, that challenges a huge goal for most creators and makes them rethink everything. And on the right, you've got pure authority. After 500 plus videos, that's not just an opinion, that's a lesson learned from a ton of experience.
Let's look at a few more. The window is closing fast. That's pure FOMO. This script has generated 20K in sales. You can't argue with that kind of proof. I dare you is such a bold challenge. Each one of these builds instant credibility and urgency that's almost impossible to scroll past.
Okay, so now you get it. You've got hooks for curiosity, hooks for connection, and hooks for action. But how do you go from just understanding the theory to actually coming up with endless ideas for your own stuff? Let's build your personal hook vault. And listen, this is probably the most important part of this whole thing. Having a list of hooks to copy is fine, but the real power, the thing that will unlock your growth for good, is understanding the strategy behind them. The goal isn't to be a copycat, is to master these frameworks so you can create original hooks that are perfect for your voice.
So here's a simple process you can literally use today. Start with a bold idea. Frame it as a how, why, or what question. Then add a psychological layer. Is it a FOMO hook? A mistake you're making hook? You can even feed a few examples to an AI like ChatGPT to brainstorm for you. But the final, most crucial step, tweak it until it sounds 100% like you.
So we'll end on this thought. Right now, at this very second, someone who could become your biggest fan is mindlessly scrolling. They are 3 seconds away from either discovering you or swiping past you forever. Now that you know all this, what's your next hook going to be?